Welcome back, folks. Today's case file goes from the mundane to the a skosh alarming. Let's just say sensitive types tuning in may want to avert eyes and ears when our subject comes face to face with, how does one put this? In a word, assimilation. I myself am feeling somewhat apprehensive about this one. Alright, that out the way, let's get started.
He only kicks ass with the proper paperwork, takes names, and files them alphabetically. He's Milton from the Department of Paradoxical Incidents, Sector G.
I like to think the G stands for good at my job.
Welcome to the Absurd Files, where bureaucracy meets the bizarre.
It's time to get absurd. Here goes nothing. Good afternoon, sir. We've just been finishing up our final clean and inspection of your neighbor's house and noticed you had signs of an identical contamination. Hi, did you notice the sign over there? I tersely interject and point to the vertical wooden post on my porch, where the "No Solicitors" sign boldly reads in bright red. Sorry, sir. I totally understand your frustration. Look at this lady, completely ignoring the obvious sign. Tell you the truth, I'd be just as annoyed. She lets out a breathy chuckle and gives a little shrug, gesturing her palms up in a "what can you do" fashion. In all good conscience, well, for your safety, my partner and I would be remiss if we didn't let you know. Her face goes grim with concern. Her quiet partner offers a similar expression with a few nods. I take the moment to look them up and down. Grayish-blue jumpsuits with a circular patch on the left breast pocket. Orange background. On the orange background lies one weirdly shaped star stacked on another, skewed so the tips of both stars show, with a black letter C in the middle. I mean, what kind of contamination do you mean? We don't have to answer anything like that if that's what you're saying. I prop the door open a little further. Yeah, of course. Quick question first. Do you have an early 20th century craftsman-style basement like your neighbor over there? She gestures to my right across the front yard. Yeah, with the concrete walls and floorboards at the ceiling, kinda? Okay, yeah, that checks out, Mr. Paulson, I offer. Ah, Mr. Paulson. We're afraid many of these similar style homes were constructed long before vapor barriers were a thing. Moisture's been creeping up from the soil for decades, which makes it prime real estate for these black mold colonies. On the last few words, she frames her mouth with the back of her flattened hand, squints, and whispers. Still a little unsure. I need some proof. Black mold, huh? They silently nod in unison. So, you saw signs of it on the side of my house or something? I gesture a thumb to my right. We'd be happy to show you if you like. After a moment of thought and another silent beat, I nod. Sure, let me, get my shoes on. I shut the door a bit and kneel down to lace up my sneakers. I step out, and they're both closed-mouthed smiling up at me. Alright, we'll show you where we spotted it. The two of them briskly walk around the side of the house, and I follow a few paces behind. So, what, you guys are, mold cleaners? Yes, we specialize in mold remediation. My name's Jess, by the way, she calls back. As they reach the location, the lady turns around, leans against the wall, and the man crouches opposite her, marking the spot between them. Yep, here's the culprit. She points down at the seam where dirt meets concrete. I glance at her with a wrinkle of concern in my eyebrows and crouch next to her counterpart. Little, black, splotchy puffs cluster starting from the seam and travel up until just beneath the wood siding. Oh. Huh. That's all I can offer. Black mold, no doubt. Her partner speaks for the first time, and I'm mildly startled by the high-pitched voice coming from his broad body. The stuff can, mess with your lungs, right? I ask with trepidation. Yeah, worse too for sensitive folks. Nausea, fatigue, Even memory loss if exposed too long, she replies. I squeeze out a breathy, dang, Lori has enough trouble gasping on her inhaler. Not good, I think to myself. So, how's this work? What's next? I ask. Well, we can schedule a full assessment for a quote on cleaning this up if you've got a free afternoon this week. I rack my brains for openings, but my evening shifts might cut it too close. I'm not sure if Before I can finish my sentence, the lady whips out her phone and interjects. Well, we've got an appointment coming up here soonish, but could probably wrap it up within the hour if now's an okay time for you. I sigh with relief and bob my head down. Actually, that would be perfect. Excellent. We'll start by sweeping the perimeter and taking some photos with your permission. Then, if you wouldn't mind showing us to the basement? Absolutely. Yep, I'll be right inside, so just give a knock when you're ready. I give a half smile and nod. All right, thanks, Mr. Paulson. The lady smiles, and the man gestures with an open palm, half-wave acknowledgement. As soon as I'm inside the door, I slip my phone out of my pocket and dial my most recent caller. The line connects. Hi, sweetie, what's up? She chimes in. Hey, Lori, doing okay, but hey, we got some mold cleaners here who happen to find some black mold in our house. I lay down the bad news. Oh, black mold? And you're sure? She's rightfully energetic. Yeah, they showed me a second ago. Looks just like it. Splotchy black spots, kind of fuzzy like little pollen puffs, you know? Uh-oh. Well, can they clean it up? I think so. They're doing an assessment as we speak. They're gonna check the basement out, too. Good thing they caught it, my word. I know. Wonder how long it's been there. Jeez. Well, in the meantime, you got any of those masks? No, but I'll pick some up while I'm out. Thanks for letting me know. Sure thing. All right. See you soon. Yep. Bye. A few seconds go by as I stare into space. More scatterbrained as of late. Maybe it's the mold. Sheesh. Better go check the basement. I head from the foyer to the hallway and down the planks of the stairs. Each step groans with a different voice. Familiar melody of passage to the basement below. Gloomy light filters in the subgrade windows, and I yank the dangling string switch. Which one was the one we spotted outside? Left. Yeah, left. I turn left and dodge the storage shelving in the middle of the room. Cascading down from where the lawn meets the wall is a web of black mold. Damn, I think to myself, how long has this crap been festering? With quicker pace, I cover the basement to the stairs, bound up, and head straight out through the front door. Hey, I know you're still doing your assessment, but any shot you could start cleaning it out today too? The basement looks even worse. And my wife, well, she's, say no more. We got you covered. Jess cuts in with a smile. Thanks. Lori will feel much better knowing it's handled. No worries, that's why we're here. It'll be tight. She looks to her partner, who nods, and goes to grab some gear from their van. But we should be able to fit it in. That's great. I really appreciate it. Okay, we're wrapped up outside. Mind taking us to the basement? Yeah, right this way. I lead the two into the house and down the stairwell in the hall. Here's the spot. Walking over to the wall, I point up to the cluster of black mold. Oof, yeah, some pretty gnarly coverage here. This has been typical across the town with this older style of home. Sheesh, I add, shaking my head. Yep. Okay, we're going to determine the extent of the contamination, remedy any moisture ingress, write up our scope for you in a quote, and set up our removal modules. So you know, we will contain this section by the wall with some plastic sheeting and a HEPA filter, so you won't be able to access it for a few days. Not a problem. Sounds like a plan. Is there anything else you need from me? No, sir, we've got it from here. We may head back in and out a few times for our gear. Is it okay if we leave the front door unlocked for a bit? Yeah, feel free. And if we're needing a restroom, is there one upstairs we might use? Shoot. The one on the main floor is being finicky at the moment, but feel free to use the one on the upper floor. It'll be at the door straight ahead when you get to the landing. Fantastic. Well, thanks so much for your time, sir. Thank you. I'll be on the main floor if you need anything else. We exchange smiles and nods and I head back up, dropping onto the couch in our living room. Whipping my phone out, I type, "Mold people working on it now. Should be good. Send." A heavy sigh escapes. I flip on the TV and drift off to the sounds of rippling plastic and shuffling feet echoing up from the basement below. Psst, sir. Oh! I awake with a start and bolt up, wiping drool from the corner of my mouth. "Sorry to wake you, sir. We're just about done here." I rub my eyes and see Jess gently bending over towards me with a smirk. "Oh, don't worry about it. I dozed off." That's great to hear." I push myself up off the couch and focus more intently on her. Hands on hips and elbows out. "My partner's using the restroom upstairs, and then we'll be out of your hair. In the meantime," she flips open a leather pad folio and hands me a piece of paper. "Here's the work we performed today, and a quote. Our policy is, you don't pay until the job is done. So just hang on to that for now, and we'll work out the details when we're back here in a few days to finish up." "Perfect. A few days. Okay, would you be able to come in around the same time, say between 10 and 11 a.m.? "Yep, we'll get you marked down." "Awesome. Well, hey, I really appreciate you coming through today. I know my wife will too." "Sure thing. We're happy to help." "Well, there's my partner now." "All right, we'll be seeing you, Mr. Paulson." Her quiet partner casually comes down the stairs and gives a smile and another half wave. "Bye, Mr. Paulson." He joins in. Together, they walk out and close the front door behind them. I watch them pull off in their van, and I eye the time on my phone. 2 p.m. I've still got a little time before my shift. Pulling on my sneakers, I look to ensure they make it up my hill and disappear around the corner. Then I open the front door and make my way across the lawn to my neighbor's door. Not a few seconds go by, and the door swiftly pops open. 2 figures fill the shape of the frame. "Oh, hey, Elaine. And, Greg?" "Mr. Paulson, what brings you here?" Elaine chimes in cheerfully. "You know, I just had some mold remediation people come through, and they said they were working on your house before?" "Those 2 were, yes. We had a pretty bad mold problem." Elaine's concern paints across her face. "So, you think they're legit then? They cleaned up your mold problem and, no issues or anything?" "Oh yes, very legit. We feel so much better now, too. Would you like to come in? We'd be happy to tell you all about it." Greg offers his piece, and they part the way between them, gesturing me in. "Oh, thanks, but I put my hands up to politely decline. I just wanted to stop by real quick and get your honest opinion of him. You know, make sure I'm not walking into a scam." I shrug my shoulders and give a half-hearted, awkward smile. The 2 grimace and look at each other. "Scam? Oh, certainly no, not those 2. They run a very clean ship at Control and Remediation, and the work they do is exquisite." Their grimace warps into a cheeky smile. "Right, exquisite. Did the 2 of you go on vacation or something? I've never seen you this tan." I laugh a bit as I point this out. "Vacation? No, we've just been here in Aberton." "Well, just spending some more time outdoors then." I wink. Their fake, faintly orange-looking tan isn't fooling anyone, but their mildly confused expressions indicate they're very much not in on the joke. "Just the usual amount of time outdoors, Mr. Paulson." They match my laugh and wink. "Okay, well, I better get ready for my shift. Have a nice day, Greg. Elaine." I nod at them both, hands in pockets, and step off their porch. "Goodbye, Mr. Paulson. Come by any time." The Hendersons have been our neighbors for years, but today I'm Mr. Paulson, I think. Usually they're good at riffing my sarcasm. Well, not today apparently. Anyhow, it's time to get changed. After throwing on work clothes, I put together a quick sandwich to stave off hunger till dinner break. As I'm slathering on honey mustard, Lori opens the front door, mask on.
"Should I come in? Is it safe?"
she asks anxiously. "Yeah, hon. They've got the area downstairs all sealed off with plastic and a filter. You should be good."
"Ah, thank goodness. And thank you for getting them in here on such short notice."
"Sure thing. Well, honestly, they spotted it first and came knocking on our door. I almost threw them out with our no soliciting sign, too."
"No way. Good thing it worked out, I guess. Want to take a look?"
"Sure, let me show you." Sandwich in hand, I lead her to the now plastic-covered area of the basement. You can kind of see the splotchiness past the sheet, here especially. I point into the taped-off plastic wall, bending it in the direction of the densest section of mold.
Ooh, yeah, I do not like the look of that.
She says, slightly muffled through her mask. We've got him scheduled to come back in a few days, this Thursday at 10 a.m. to finish up. I'll meet with them and handle it.
Thanks for taking care of it, sweetie.
She kisses my cheek. Yeah, of course. Anyways, I gotta run to work. Try not to breathe too much.
Very funny. Have a good day.
I head out the door into a pretty standard shift at work, and arrive back home in the early night. Lori is fast asleep and lightly snoring. After a shower, I quietly slip into bed and pass out. The next day, I spend mostly lounging around until the afternoon. As I watch the TV in the living room, the faint whir of a fan and the subtle crinkling of plastic remind me of the prior day's events, and so I'm inspired to check out the basement again. I reach the wall of the plastic and squint to see through. Splotches of the black mold mostly remain, but there's a new color on the wall. It's blurry and mild, but it looks as though the perimeter of the mold colonies have an orange-tinted substance now. Is that part of the process? I reclimb the steps to the main floor, walking to the living room, and grab the papers left on the coffee table. Control and Remediation reads in bold letters in the upper left corner. Skimming down the quote, I get to the bottom, and a phone number.
Control and Remediation, this is Jess.
Hi, this is Mr. Paulson from yesterday. I was looking at the basement again and noticed an orange substance around the mold. Is that normal?
Yes, completely normal, and we actually get that question a lot.
Jess says easily.
Our patented removal modules release a neutralizing compound that coats the mold over several days.
So, there's nothing to worry about?
None at all. When we're back Thursday, it'll be spotless.
Alright. Well, thanks.
Of course. See you Thursday.
I'm no expert on mold remediation. Still, something feels off. Footsteps thump above my head. Lori must be home. I go to meet her. Hey, hun, how's your day? I ask with a hug. Oh, nothing special. Headache of a meeting, but what's new? Did start getting a little tickle in my throat this morning, so fingers crossed it's not a cold coming on. Shoot, I hope it's not the mold. I was wondering that myself, but they've got it taped off pretty well with the fan though, don't they? Yeah, I mean, it seems like it should be contained. But speaking of, I did find something a little odd down there, and gave the remediation company a call about it. Oh yeah? What's that? There's orange stuff around the mold now? They say it's part of the process. Huh, she shrugs. I mentioned our little issue at work. Trisha raved about them. Said they fixed her place right up. Raved? Her words. Divine. Divine, huh? I grin at the thought of a divine mold remediation specialist, floating with an angelic glow in a white hazmat suit. Bit of a strong word for mold cleaning, don't you think? That's what I said! We both share one raised eyebrow as we laugh. You know, it's funny, our neighbors said something similar. I point towards the faintly lit window of the Hendersons across the yard. Oh yeah? The Hendersons? Yeah, but instead they used the word exquisite. I gesture with a pinky held high. Wow, lucky us. Well taken care of in the hands of Control and Remediation, she winks. Only the best, I wink back. My laughter trails off with a sigh, and my look goes back to one of mild worry. Still, I might just get a second opinion. Sure, sweetie, if that'll make you feel better, let's do that. For your sake, yeah. Okay, I'll coordinate it when I get a second at work and try to get someone for tomorrow. Sounds great. You're the best. She kisses my cheek. Following my pre-work prep routine, I stop by the kitchen where Lori is pulling out leftovers. Hey, I was thinking maybe you should still wear a mask, just to be safe. I appreciate your concern, hon, but I feel fine. She lets out a tiny cough. It's just dust, I swear. Plus no throat tickle at the moment. Besides, why stress when we're under the divine protection of Control and Remediation? Her hands arrange themselves into a dainty, three-fingered pose, an imitation of aristocratic grace. I chuckle and roll my eyes. Indeed, my love, then let it be. I match her gesture with a posh accent. All right, love you. Have a good evening. Love you too. Have a good day at work. I wave a hand back as I exit the front door, then drive off into the fading light of an autumn day. The musky scent of stifled air permeates the interior of a white van. A piercing brightness emitted by a cathode ray tube screen outlines a pair of booted feet crossed casually atop a counter. 2 crinkling potato chip bags offer crisp, golden sustenance to 2 sets of smacking lips. Will you put that damn cigarette out? I can't breathe in this metal shoebox. We've been here for hours, and I am antsy as hell. Would you please just give me this? Ugh. Well, if I die from inhaling that crap, just know I'll be haunting you till the end. Wait! Shh! Look! A man's salty, chip dust-coated finger smears an oil smudge along one of the screens. Oh shit, is it happening? The pair of booted feet quickly move from the counter to the floor of the van. The chip bag gets tossed likewise, and the silhouette of a ponytail-adorned head leans towards the glowing screen. The horrid moan of a woman in agony emerges gradually from the speaker beneath the TV. Oh shit, it's happening! Eee! The ponytailed figure lets out a squeal of glee. Ha ha! The man excitedly pounds his hands on the counter in quick succession. All right, ladies and gentlemen, place your bets! Place your bets! He imitates an old-timey announcer and whips out some cash from his wallet. Ooh, it's a tough one to call, Tom. Let's review the footage. The ponytailed figure replies, matching her counterpart's energy. They both lean their heads in to watch closely. The moaning has stopped, but the image reveals the woman now convulsing violently, wrenching and contorting her body on a wooden floor. Well, that just looks painful. I do not envy her. You hate to see a contestant behaving like this, Tom. Really unsportsmanlike. Took the words right out of my mouth. All right, get your bets in now before the next round. You know what, Tom? I'm getting the feeling this contestant might just be a vomiter. $20 on vomiter, Tom. The ponytailed figure slams a bill down on the countertop next to the man. We've got 20 buckaroos on vomiter. What makes you feel confident about your bet there, ma'am? Tom offers an imagined microphone to the ponytailed woman. Well, Tom, she seems like she has a weak constitution. Not built for this kind of competition. I'd wager we'll see massive puking in the next 5 minutes. You heard it, ladies and gentlemen. A weak constitution. To be honest, miss, I'd have to disagree with your assessment. Oh yeah? You bet. I think this one, on the contrary, is a real fighter. Those are some convulsions like I've never seen. $20 on poltergeist. The convulsing woman now flips over onto her stomach and weakly lifts herself up onto her hands and knees. Poltergeist? An interesting interpretation on what we're seeing here tonight, Tom. If I was a betting woman, and I am, I'd say this little lady here is getting ready to up and chuck. I think that remains to be seen. All right, Jess, let's hear what the contestant has to say about it. The two go silent and focus entirely on the woman in the screen. She remains on hands and knees, breathing heavily with a severe rasp.
Please, stop this!
She screams into the floor. Immediately, she launches herself to her feet and slams both hands into the wall in front of her. Her fingers curl, and she rips downwards through the wallpaper with a heaving yell. Oh, we've got ourselves a poltergeist, ladies and gents! Tom slams his hands down on the counter with a triumphant laugh. Now hold your horses, Tom. Our contestant is just getting started. Jess grabs Tom's arm in protest. The woman now looks at her hands and screams at them in pain. Without missing a beat, she lunges at an innocent end table nearby, places both hands underneath the bottom edge, and throws it upwards with a massive force disproportionate to her slender arms. The table flips up, and the ceramic lamp once atop launches high up before the tension in its cord whips it around, smashing it to pieces on the connected wall. She runs out of frame, and the two watchers shift their gaze to a secondary monitor. Ripping cupboard doors from hinges and drawers from shelves, she continues her rampage in a kitchen. No dish is safe, and the floor becomes a scattered mess of shattered china and silverware. Well, I think that just about settles it, Jess. Ha-ha! Tom clenches his hand around the two bills and rips his arm free, as Jess throws her hands up, sighs, and shakes her head in defeat. "Damn it," she utters dejectedly. "Better luck next time. Thanks for playing, miss." Yeah, she rolls her eyes. "Hey, cheer up. I'll get the first round of beer when this wraps up." Tom offers his hand, and Jess meets his eyes, lips sneered. "All right, deal." They shake on it. "Wait, listen. Together, they return attention to the screen. The woman now pauses a moment and stands to one side of the frame, breathing intensely.
What are you?
She shrieks, gripping her head. As if in response, her demeanor changes instantly, and in a sweet, sultry voice, she says,
"A more beautiful and wondrous being, my love. You're welcome, oh lonely one."
The vanmates burst out laughing. "Did you hear what Yak said? I know, what a sap, dude." They're in tears now, leaning on each other while doubled over in hilarity's communion. Tom looks up with another quip at the ready. "We're working for friggin' Shakespeare up in here." Wheezing now, they both look up at each other, take a deep breath, and in unison mockingly say, "You're welcome, oh lonely one." At this line, they both guffaw with such force back into their chairs that Jess loses balance and falls to the floor of the van, which only serves to make them wheeze harder. Tom eyes the screen and shoves a hand out to quiet Jess. Shh, wait, here it comes. Jess shuffles up to her knees and leans onto the counter. They stare intently. The woman in the screen is lying on the floor, pajamas torn to shreds. She takes a sudden, inhaling breath and then leans up on her elbows. She looks down across her body as if studying the shapes and forms of her corners and curves. Her skin, once pale, now tinted an uncharacteristic orange. Sitting upright, she drags her shuddering hands from her belly, across her breasts, up her neck, and finally fans her fingers on her cheeks, eyes closed and head craning gently upwards. Now planting her palms to the ground, she lifts herself onto her feet, and once again feels from her calves to her hips up to her face again, and then runs her fingers through her hair. She opens her eyes and briskly shuffles to a sound system in the living room. Tom and Jess turn heads to each other with a knowing grin, and then back to the woman. A moment later, a sudden and rich sound of warm orchestral string, woodwind, and timpani fill the compartment of the surveilling van. Tchaikovsky's Final Waltz, an apotheosis, bellows out from the sound system in the home, and the woman, in her shredded pajamas, begins to imitate the countenance of a clumsy ballerina, dipping to the rhythm of the waltz in threes, pirouetting on the occasional one, and leaping in semi-graceful arcs here and there. The laughter of the vanmates comes back in force, and they each wrap an arm around each other's shoulders as they watch. Lights in some nearby houses of the neighborhood begin to flick on. The van doors open, and Jess and Tom step out to watch as one light after another begins popping on in houses both near and far. From above the rooftops, the lights flick on here and there, dotting an increasingly large radius in and beyond the neighborhood. A faint and muffled sound emerges from the newly lit homes in kind. Tchaikovsky's Final Waltz and Apotheosis. The two linger a minute, then climb back into the van and close the doors. "Uh-oh, look sharp," Jess says with an intense whisper. Tom follows her eye line to the screen. A man can now be seen in frame with the dancing woman in a hallway. She stops and smiles at him. "Sweetie, you're home." "Oh my God, what happened here? Are you okay?" "My love, I'm better than okay. Please, dance with me." She offers him a bloodied hand, nails torn clean off. "Holy shit, your hand! You're bleeding profusely. We need to get you to a hospital." He yanks off his shirt and wraps her hand in it. In the van, Tom and Jess look at each other, nod, then pull ski masks over their faces. Both grab black, metallic objects and bound out the back of the van. No, you're overreacting, my love. Come, join me." She spreads her arms in an arc over her head. "What are you saying? No, we need to go now." With authority, He puts his arm around her waist and begins pulling her towards the door. At that moment, the door bursts open with a crack, and the masked figure of Jess fills the frame. Quick, running footsteps resound in the hall behind the bloody couple, and a masked Tom blocks them from the rear. What the fuck? Who? Hello, Mr. Paulson, Jess interjects casually. An airy click, followed by a fast whizzing, and Mr. Paulson drops to the floor. Well, that just leaves a bad taste in the mouth, don't it? One minute you're trying to do right by your spouse and getting business taken care of. The next, you find him doing the dang body snatchers tango in the living room. Ugh. And the nails. Jeepers creepers. No second guessing this one. Absurdity confirmed. Sheesh. Okay, folks, listen up. Representatives from the company, Control and Remediation, are not to be trusted. Be mindful of solicitors with the patches that have orange backgrounds, little star doodads, and the letters C logo on their jumpsuits. Deny any and all requests of entry into your home. I cannot stress this last bit enough. Deny entry under any circumstances whatsoever. Okay, that's settled. Well, thanks for stopping by the Department of Paradoxical Incidents. We'll see you next time.